The first section that we're going to take a look at is a section called A Healthy Neighborhood. And if you take a look, let's take a second to admire all the lovely text features that are on this section. We have this photograph, the caption, see another photograph over here. We have some sidebars of information called Littering the Facts, and Rooftop Garbage. So let's get started. A Healthy Neighborhood. Is your town or city a mess? It's not hard to improve it a little. Simple tasks such as making posters to persuade people to use garbage cans or to clean up dog waste can help your neighbors to clean up their act. It's also worth reminding people that it is illegal to drop litter and that they can be fined for doing so. You could even get together with friends to organize a litter pickup. See page 23, which I don't think we're going to look at. Plant some herbs or encourage more walking and cycling. Does that sound unrealistic? Well, it has been shown that people make the choice whether to litter. So putting up signs to focus attention on the issue can make a real difference. Keep Australia Beautiful ran a competition to create a 30-second advertisement with an anti-littering message aimed at people under 25. Robbie Reed was one of the young people who took up the challenge. He produced an anti-litter ad with a cute animated crab named Kevin, who advised viewers to stash trash in the garbage can. Robbie won a $1,000 reward. An herb patch. Once you've tackled the garbage, how about community food growing? Is there a patch of unused ground in your area? If you're part of a community eco group, you could seek permission from your local government to plant some herbs for everyone to use. Or perhaps a local community center has a space where you could grow plants in pots. It's easy to do, and your cooking will taste better with fresh herbs. And so here's our little sidebar, some facts about littering. Nearly 1 in 5 people dropped litter in a public place, while most people, 83% of people, actually disposed of it properly. People are more likely to litter if the area is already littered. In contrast, if there are recycling and garbage cans handy, people tend to use them. Littering is an individual choice. People who believe littering is wrong use garbage cans. Individuals can encourage others not to litter by helping to change habits. And then this little sidebar here is about rooftop gardens, which I think that's what this picture is, if you take a look. And it says, Tokyo, Japan is a densely populated city. Few people have gardens. In recent years, however, people have developed an interest in growing their own food. Since space is an issue, these gardens are ingenious, creating vegetable plots in front of railroad stations and making rooftop gardens. Businesses have become involved too. For example, in 2011, East Japan Railway opened a rental garden on the rooftop of a building. People can rent plots to grow fruits and vegetables in addition to using the garden to relax and socialize. And then we have some more information about litter here in our community. Litter. Is there an area near you that is ruined by litter? Why not organize a litter pickup? You could start with a small cleanup, for example, on your school's fields. Perhaps you could ask students, parents, and teachers to sponsor you to raise the money you'll need for the equipment. And then we have a photograph here of some kids picking up litter with a caption, and it just says that these are volunteers picking up trash. And then a little sidebar about staying safe, saying if you're going to organize one of these events, make sure that you have an adult to help you. So we're going to skip ahead to our next section. And our next section is some simple ways for us to cut some waste. And we have some more text features here. We've got this photograph kind of built in of this guy. We have a graph, a little sidebar. Over here we also have a photograph and a sidebar. So cutting waste, here's some simple tips. What are the 3 R's in school? Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Most school waste is paper, packaging, and food waste. There are simple ways to reduce these kinds of waste and to lighten the garbage bags. Reduce waste. If you have to print out work at school, print double-sided so that you use half as much paper. What about litter? One Scottish student from an eco group was finding it's hard to persuade others to reduce, reuse, and recycle litter. She asked for advice on the Eco Schools forum. Another student replied that at his school, students receive praise and rewards, such as a special postcard if they follow the litter policy. Another worthwhile project is to reduce the use of materials you don't need at all. At Nicholas School in Buffalo, New York, the students began a movement called Plastic Plasticon. They aim to persuade schools and businesses not to use single-use plastic products. For example, their Stop Sucking campaign encourages people to stop using drinking straws, which waste resources. Reuse. Now, you might like to think creatively about how to reuse materials. As always, it's good to start with a survey. Find out how paper is reused. Many goods come in plastic containers. What happens to them once they are empty? Your eco group could suggest some simple ideas for reusing items. Teachers and students can keep paper that has been used on one side for rough drafts. Plastic containers can be used to hold pens and pencils. Seedlings can be planted in old soda cans. When paper cannot be written on anymore, try using it for art projects, from paper mache models to masks. The students at Lyra Primary School in South Australia make their waste paper into bricks and sell them to local people for fuel. Here's how they do it, and then they give the website information on this. Here's an example of reusing. It says your art department should be able to reuse materials. Here, paper mache has been used to make a giant model of the planet Saturn. And then down here it says not every school can start a major project such as paper brick making. So how can individual students reuse materials? A good way is to use lunch boxes and refill water bottles instead of using plastic bags and bottles. And then recycle. At the International School of Paris, France, they switched from using bleached white paper to using recycled paper throughout the school. They could recycle the paper again afterward. This kind of recycling is better for the environment than using a single-use product and throwing it straight into the recycling bin. And then we have a photograph here of some water bottles. It says drinks in plastic bottles are refrigerated and stored, which uses energy, and then the resources are used for recycling bottles, and it takes up a lot of our resources. All right, and in the last section, we're going to look at eco-friendly food. What fast and simple changes can you make so your food and drinks are more eco-friendly, cheaper, and better for you? First, assess yourself. Are you wasteful or waste-aware? And then we've got this little sidebar. It says, check this list of disposable items to see how your packed lunch measures up. Do you have a sandwich in a cardboard or plastic box? Do you have salad in a plastic box? Chips, bars, or cookies in plastic packaging? Containers of yogurt? A carton or bottle of a drink? Plastic cutlery? Plastic bags. Okay, I just looked at this list and thought about the lunch I brought today. I am guilty of a lot of these things. If you have lots of disposable items in your lunch, consider the ideas below. Or if you're having pasta or rice for dinner, why not make a little extra to keep for your lunch the next day? So here's our ideas. Pick a carb, bread, pasta, or rice. Choose a fresh vegetable and season or canned. Add some protein. Pack or chop fruit into natural yogurt. Put your meal and yogurt into food containers. Pour juice or water into a drink bottle. And then they show, look at this cute little lunch, all packed in here in reusable containers. And then we have eco snacks. Of course, it can be hard to be organized enough to prepare food every day. In Ithaca Creek State Primary School in Australia, workers at an on-site snack bar prepare sandwiches and salads with fresh ingredients. Some of the produce comes from the school garden. They minimize food waste by only making meals or sandwiches when they are ordered. Any leftover food goes into the wormery along with fruit and vegetable peelings. The liquid from the wormery fertilizes the garden and the whole cycle begins again. And then here's a little tip for you, just in case you didn't know. Fresh fruit needs no preparation beyond washing. Just place it in your lunchbox and you don't need to even have other packaging around it. And think about your drink. There's nothing wrong with buying a soda or a fruit drink every now and then when you're out. However, although some bottled drinks are healthy, many contain large amounts of sugar and additives, and they are not cheap. Also, packaging, transporting, and refrigerating the beverages comes at a cost to the environment. So how can you cut down on costs and waste but stay hydrated and healthy? If you live in an economically developed country such as the United States, your home will have a fresh water supply, and it's probably cleaner and safer than bottled water. In some areas, the water is safe but does not taste good. You could talk to your family about buying a water filter to make tap water taste better. And then we have a sidebar here about these water bottles. And it says that a report in 2010 showed that 50% of bottled water is actually tap water in a plastic bottle. 75% of these bottles are thrown away and they aren't recycled. The plastic in some of these bottles might leak some things into the water. This bottled water goes through fewer safety tests than tap water, and it costs 100 times as much as tap water. All right, lots of things for us to think about today.